From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, October 10th, 2022. Checking in with temperatures here a little bit warmer as you head to the northwest. We've got a disturbance making its way in from the west. It's going to allow warmth to build here over the next 24 hours before a shot of cold air comes in on the backside. So a little warmer across northern and central Alberta today than it is a little further south of Highway 16, but that will be changing as we head through the next 48 hours or so. Here's the disturbance. You see it right here, quiet across the prairie right now. Again, stick high pressure right there, southerly flow coming around on the west side of that. That's the reason for the warmth building across the west. Cold air, though, coming in on the back side of this front. That'll be dropping temperatures as we head through, again, the next couple of days. Not a lot in the way of precipitation with this one. There's some light precipitation showing up across the west. We'll see some light showers, maybe even a few flurries in some areas over the next 48 to 72 hours. Here's what that looks like as this front kind of sweeps through. Again, another moisture-starved area of low pressure, sweeping through rather quickly. Not a lot in the way of to work with. The jet stream pattern across North America, across Western Canada, and then extending across the Pacific continues to not really be favorable for organized storm systems producing, I should really say we're getting disturbances, but it's the wrong trajectory to get organized precipitation. So we're getting these disturbances coming out of the northwest. They kind of dive northwest to southeast. We get a shot of cold, dry air. This feels very familiar if we go back to last fall, the beginning of the winter. Shots of cold air, doses of light moisture, but not a lot of substantial heavy rainfall or, heavy accumulating snow. So here's the next few days. This takes us through Thursday. Again, you see it real quick over the next 72 hours or so, just some light showers across the region. Total precipitation between Monday and midday Thursday from the NAM. Again, some folks going to get a quick shower, maybe, a flurry on the backside here as we get into mid to late week. But not expecting a lot. Heavier precipitation maybe north of Highway 16 across portions of central into northeastern Manitoba, where they're going to get a little bit more in the way of moisture as the area of low pressure kind of stalls across that region. But basically the entire prairie here, a chance of precipitation over the next 72 hours, but the likelihood of picking up anything more than, a quick shower that wets the top layer of the soil, wets the pavement out there is rather unlikely. Here's what it looks like from the European model. Compare the NAM, the Euro, same look. The European just a little bit more widespread with the, look down here. We're talking about less than a couple of millimeters. So not much difference really when we talk about the overall forecast package here. 48 to 72 hours, the next couple of days, chance for some very light precipitation. The wind's going to be a little bit, a bigger story here, especially Tuesday, Wednesday. Strong northwesterly winds coming in on the backside with those cooler temperatures. So blustery and chilly midweek with the chance for some very light moisture. This is the next 7 days. This takes us all the way to October 17th from the NAM model. Again, not much change here. So you look at the prairie, we're talking about 5 millimeters or less, just that chance for some light showers, heavier precipitation as you make your way well off to the east. Here's the pattern. It continues to reload. Ridge to the west, trough to the east. We get flow that does something like that. As I just hit play here, you can see the disturbances just coming out of the northwest. That, again, is not a trajectory that's going to produce a lot in the way of precipitation here. It will bring in shots of cool air. It will bring in fronts that will kick off scattered light precipitation, but we're not looking at, an area of low pressure bringing in a lot of rain or a lot of snow anytime soon across the prairie with this look. Here's, the next 5 days on the left, and then days 5 through 10 on the right. You see it here, not much change. We've got a hurricane down here, Julia, that's going to continue to kind of spin down across the Pacific here near the Yucatan, California. And we get kind of I won't call it a blocking pattern, but things don't want to move when we do this kind of high over low pattern like that. So what we end up with in Canada here, across Western Canada, is, again, ridge west, trough east, northwest flow across the region, shots of cold, dry air. Not much in the way of precipitation across the region, even all the way to days 10 to 15. The ensemble model here having a hard time shaking this. Now, what we do see is very strong flow across the Pacific. This is ready to bring in an active pattern across the region. The question is, when do we start to bring some of that flow in? When do we break down the ridge that is, to this point, given us unfavorable flow here for heavier precipitation and just continuous, shot of cold, dry air. We warm up for a few days, shot of cold, dry air. We warm up for a few days. That's the forecast for the next 10 to 15 days. That's what we've been experiencing for the last 10 to 15 days. So here you go. This is the next 10 days. Precipitation on the left, temperatures on the right. Mild, more mild on the left, or the left. That's how we do geography, right? More mild in the west, a little bit cooler in the east. Again, flow like this. Going to see those shots of cool air linger a little bit longer in the west, and we're going to see that warmth be a little bit more persistent in the west. Cooler in the east, warmer in the west is what I meant to say there. And then as we look at the precipitation, again, drier across the prairie. You see the white shading here. That's what we're talking about, near average. This is not a particularly wet time of year across western Canada. So near average, that just means, yes, we've got a couple fronts coming through that are going to bring a chance for some light showers across the region. So we'll tie it all together then. This is the European operational model, the precipitation forecast over the next 10 days. You see some activity on there, but by and large, it's missing us here across the prairie. We get those light showers the next few days, a really dry, quiet mid-late week into the weekend, and then you see another system try to dive in here. This would be as we get into the beginning and middle part of next week. This is October, 10, 11, and 12. We're talking about maybe another area of low pressure. The area of low pressure well off to the north, but again, another front sweeping across the region, bringing a chance for some light precip, another shot of cold, dry air. Here are those winds I talked about. Relatively light today, but as we get into tomorrow afternoon, we could see those winds gusting north of 60 kilometers per hour, especially across southern portions of Saskatchewan. And then those winds will continue to be gusty. They'll die down a bit here Tuesday night, but then Wednesday afternoon, the sun comes up. We decouple the atmosphere, and that allows those stronger winds to mix back down to the surface. Once again, gusting over 60 kilometers per hour across a big chunk of central and southern Saskatchewan. It would be southwestern Manitoba, seeing those gusty winds tomorrow, Wednesday, October 12th. Here's a look at those temperatures again. Mild across the north and the west today, or this morning at least, but I mentioned we're going to see that shot of cooler air coming here and really just knock us back down to about where we should be. Look at this. This cold front sweeps through. You can see the dividing line right here. It marches through. This would be as we get into midday Tuesday. The front is moving through Manitoba, through the northern plains of the U.S. Cooler air coming in on those strong, gusty northwest winds. But you look at the temperatures here. We're talking about still a few degrees warmer than average. We'll take this then into the end of the week. This is your Thursday. You're getting into your Friday here. Some of those cooler temperatures, again, more, what I meant to say was here, more persistent warmth across the west, and those cooler temperatures a little bit more, noticeable in the east. Here's that next shot of cool air that comes in maybe over the weekend into early next week, and then warmth tries to rebuild once again. So that is the pattern over the next 10 to 15 days. You can pick out your fronts here. We look at Calgary, your next 10 days. Front sweeping through here tonight. Another front sweeps through on Friday. Shots of cool air warming up the few days that follow that. Edmonton, very similar look here. You can see their couple fronts. Saskatoon, and then Regina. We could just keep doing this, drawing those fronts in. You see periods of, cooler temperatures, but those begin to rebound then with a front coming through, knocking temperatures back down. Each of those fronts bringing a chance for light rain, maybe some light flurries on the backside there. But generally looking at, the next 10 days defined by volatile temperatures, seasonally, appropriate variable temperatures, shots of cool, dry air, those chances for some showers, continuing to reload that pattern over the next 10 to 15 days.